To Turkey now, where President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says a new safe zone in northeastern Syria will create an area where his government can repatriate Syrian refugees. He also wants to keep this safe zone in place to prevent Kurdish militants from approaching the southern border. Now, he said he was determined to establish the zone by now, the end of September, but his government and the United States have different ideas about how big the zone should be. Erdogan says he'll act alone if there's no agreement. Meanwhile, Syrian refugees in Turkey say some are already being deported to areas, including the north of Syria, which they say are far from safe. DW met one woman whose son was sent back against his will.
Mohammed has been gone for almost 2 months. When Ofer Resho thinks about what happened to her son, she feels helpless, lost. In early August, Mohammed was riding a friend's motorbike in Istanbul. The bike wasn't registered. Mohammed was stopped by police and then sent to a detention center.
About 12 days later, I got a call from Mohammed. He said, "They've taken me to Syria, to Idlib." That was his last phone call. I haven't heard from him since. I'm heartbroken. When we fled from Syria, he was still a small child. Now they have sent him back to that place, and I don't know where he is.
Istanbul's Fatih district is an area where many Syrians live. Many here have heard that the Turkish authorities have been deporting refugees in recent months. And most of them are afraid that they could be next.
When they started sending people back, I was so scared I didn't leave my house.
There are more restrictions on us now, and people are being deported back to Syria. We can't escape Turkey for Europe anymore because it's too dangerous.
We Syrians used to feel welcome here, but that has changed. Now we feel like unwanted migrants again.
Turkey has taken in more refugees from Syria than any other country, more than 3.6 million people in the space of a few years. Hundreds of thousands live here in Istanbul. They've set up stores and restaurants. They've tried to build new lives. And while Turkish society initially responded with remarkable resilience, hospitality is now rapidly wearing thin.
They bother us. If more of them come, I don't want to live in this neighborhood and in this country anymore.
I get along very well with most of the Syrians here. There are some bad people, but you get that everywhere.
We want them to leave as soon as possible. We don't want them here anymore.
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has recognized this change in public sentiment. In the past few weeks, he has made repeated promises that millions of Syrians will return home to a so-called safe zone that he wants to establish in the northeast of Syria. But the government insists deportations are not taking place, and that Syrians who are returning are doing so voluntarily. Ömer Çakırgöz disagrees. The lawyer is trying to help get Ofer Resho's son back from Syria. Mohammed and his family have valid Turkish documents and protection status. Çakırgöz has filed an appeal with Turkey's constitutional court.
Sending a person to a war zone is a serious human rights violation. Mohammed is not an isolated case. This is happening to many Syrians. Many have been deported in recent months.
The lawyer says that many deported Syrians attempt to return to Turkey, making a second escape from their war-torn country, illegally and often at a high cost, paying a lot of money to smugglers. And as dangerous as that might sound, Mohammed's mother Ofer is clinging to any hope that she might see her son again in safety.